Hi, I'm the Iowa Prairie Girl. Today we're going to take a look at milkweed. I tried to Google how many types of milkweed there are, and I found one article that said there's at least 21 in North America. The Iowa Wildflower app lists 14, and I know I've seen at least 8 different types of milkweed. But today we're going to take a look at whorled milkweed, and that's this delicate little plant in front of me. I say delicate because it is very pretty and it looks delicate, but this bugger is tough. Probably one of the toughest milkweeds. It's also the shortest, and it blooms a little bit later than most milkweed here in Iowa. So this is whorled milkweed. I'm coming to you from a limestone prairie in Saragota County. That's North Iowa. It is August, first week in August. It's a windy day, but it's also just a gorgeous day. So I'm here with my dogs, and we're looking at whorled milkweed. Now this plant is also called a pioneer plant. It's a native plant. Pioneer meaning that it will grow after an area has been disturbed. It might be one of the first plants that pop up after an area has been disturbed. So it likes dry, gravelly, rocky. I'm in an old quarry. It'll grow in places that you can't imagine a plant will grow up. I just was down here by the water, and it was all just rocks, and there was a little whorled milkweed coming up out of the rocks. So what else about this plant? We're going to talk about whorled milkweed, some of the qualities that it has, some of the stinky stuff that goes with having whorled milkweed around. But if you stick around, we'll talk more about this. Well, we'll have fun. We'll have fun talking about whorled milkweed. Preserve, but I wanted to move a little bit. I wanted to show you different habitats that you might find whorled milkweed in, and also I needed to kind of get out of the wind. It was hard to make a video in the wind. So whorled milkweed, like I said, is a pioneer plant, meaning that it will be one of the first plants to pop up after an area has been disturbed. It is one of the shortest plants. It does not tolerate a tall grass prairie. It doesn't like being around other plants that are taller than it. It likes full sun. I've seen this plant along the sides of gravel roads, just growing right along the side of a road. Like I said, it grows in rocks, and it just really likes more of a gravelly, dry area. It's very drought resistant. It'll actually kind of turn a yellow color when it's lacking water, and then once it rains again, it'll green back up. Let's take a closer look at the leaf now. So the leaf is where we get the name whorled. Whorled means spiral. And the leaves here grow in a whorl. That means they grow around the stem. To be a whorled, to be able to use the word whorled, it has to have at least 3 different parts. So it could be, whorled could refer to the leaf, it could refer to the flower, it could refer to the sepals, but in this particular case, it refers to the leaves and how they grow on the stem. So the leaves are a light green, almost a yellowish green. You can see that they're very fine. They're about 2 inches long, very narrow and linear, almost like they remind me of a Christmas tree needle. And so that's where the name comes from. The whorled milkweed is reference to the leaves. Another name for this plant that people call it is horsetail milkweed. And that again is in reference to the leaves. Without the flower, you might confuse it for that plant that's called horsetail. So the plant itself is very erect. It stands straight up, doesn't branch off until the very top when we have the flowers. The leaves usually point up, and then as the plant ages, they become horizontal, and then they might even kind of turn downwards. They also will curl under, but that's really hard to tell because they're so narrow. If we take a look at the flower, it is your very classic, typical milkweed flower. So if you don't know milkweeds, you want to remember the number 5. 5 is very classic in milkweed. There's all types of different milkweeds. They might grow in a different place. They might grow in the desert. They might grow in a vine, but they all have the same type of flower. And so the flower is that they have 5 petals, 5 sepals, 5 hoods, and 5 horns. And I hope that when you look at some of my pictures, you can see those different types parts of the flower. So this flower, they say, is fragrant. I can't smell anything. You can see that the color is white. It might be kind of a whitish green. It might have some purple tips to it. And it looks like it's a very delicate, beautiful flower. Now, like I said, it is a shorter flower. If you were to put this in if you were trying to make a pollinator garden, this would be an excellent plant for a pollinator garden. It does bloom for about 2 months. It blooms here in Iowa from about June to September, but the plant itself, if it starts to bloom, will bloom for about 2 months. If you know milkweed, milkweed is the awesome plant that is necessary for monarch butterflies. And so this plant here, your whorled milkweed, is a great plant for monarch butterflies. The monarch will lay its eggs, and then the caterpillars will grow and eat up on the milkweed, and then form a chrysalis, and then form into another butterfly. So milkweed too, if you don't know this, it's called milkweed because, I didn't realize this, I did pull this, it's because it has this milky sap here. And so all milkweed have this sap. This sap doesn't taste good. It tastes good to monarch butterflies, and actually it makes the monarch and the caterpillar taste awful, and then they're actually toxic to birds and other predators. And so that's one of the defenses that monarch butterflies have, is that they taste so horrible after eating milkweed that everybody leaves them alone. It can be also toxic to cattle. And if you want to put this in your garden, do know that it's deer resistant. Deer are smart enough not to eat milkweed because it does not taste good to them. I wanted to point out on this particular milkweed, it grows in an umbrel, and I've talked about umbrels before. An umbrel, to me, sounds like an upside down umbrella, and so the flowers grow in like an umbrel, and then each of the flowers have its own pedestal or its own stem. And so each plant could have 1 to 4 umbrels, and then each umbrel has between 7 to 20 flowers. So this plant has a lot of different flowers, and so again, this plant can just be full of insects, butterflies, moths, skippers. Great plant for a pollinator garden. Whorled milkweed can get kind of aggressive. It will spread. Just know that if you're going to put it in your pollinator garden, it spreads. It has 2 ways of reseeding itself. One, it has the pod, like a typical milkweed. It'll have a pod, seed pod with fluff and silk in it. And if you want to learn more about milkweed fluff, watch my video on milkweed fluff. Or it also has stems that go underground, and they use a word called stolon, which means it stems underground. And if you're a gardener, I refer to them as runners. And so these stems go horizontal underground, and they shoot up another plant. And so it'll spread pretty aggressively. Here in North Iowa, I have seen some ditches here just full of whorled milkweed right now. It's really quite pretty. Don't worry about her. She just got out of the water. She's not having any problems. She just wants to go back in the water. Okay, so other things, we talked about the caterpillars or the monarch butterflies. Another insect, or not actually an insect, another mammal that but benefits from whorled milkweed is a hummingbird. The hummingbirds really like to feed off the whorled milkweed, and they also will take the fluff from the seed pods and line their nests with the milkweed fluff from the whorled milkweed. Well, I hope you liked my video on whorled milkweed. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos out there, a couple other ones on milkweed. I have a swamp milkweed video as well. And then, as I alluded to, I have a whole video just on milkweed fluff. Just recently I spoke to an elderly lady in the nursing home, and milkweed fluff was used in World War II for flotation devices for the soldiers. They ran out of materials to make life jackets, and I knew that they had harvested, but I actually met a lady. She told me when she was in elementary school, her teacher had them go out at the end of the day and harvest milkweed fluff for life jackets for the soldiers in World War II. So that was pretty cool to actually meet someone who had done that. All right, so this is whorled milkweed. It's hard to say, whorled, W-H-O-R-L-E-D, whorled. It's a tough plant. It's aggressive. It's great for pollinators, and I hope that you get to get out and maybe find some, or find some other type of milkweed. It's great again for caterpillars and for the monarch butterflies. It could feed an army of caterpillars. And as you can see up here on this ledge here at the preserve, it is growing quite aggressively. It kind of loves this spot here. There's no tall flowers, and it's just right here in the sun on this rocky soil. So again, Iowa Prairie Girl, thanks for watching. I hope you get out with your family, with your dogs, with your kids, and I hope you see something wonderful.